And here's the reason why this fight was not a draw. In the judge's mind, they know Beterbiev is 40. And they know, like, man, if we give this guy the decision, he might actually retire. Also, you need to understand that boxing is a business, is entertainment. So they might have thought, you know what, let's give this to Bivol and then we might push for a third fight. Riyadh season have just finished and oh my god, this was the best boxing card I've experienced in my whole life. And honestly, I am happy to be alive. And this video, I'm actually filming it 5 minutes after finishing the boxing match, and we are going to talk about so many fights. I'm actually going to start at Hamza's fight and Carlos. So much to talk about. By the way, this is my opinion, and if you're a boxing fan, you might have noticed a few things just like I have. Fight number 2 is going to be Shakur versus Pardo, and I actually have so many things to say about Shakur because I believe he cannot stop Tank. That is my opinion. Number 3 is going to be Bakole versus Parker again, and the last one being Bivol and Beterbiev. So let's talk about the Hamza's fight. Number 1, Hamza. When you fight people that are not on like a world champions level, right? And when you now get the opportunity to go to world champion and a world title, I want you to understand that the attitude is not going to be the same, because in my humble opinion, I feel like Hamza is a better fighter than Carlos, but Carlos has a great defense and he just have to basically keep using his jab and his power shots. And one thing that I didn't understand is that Hamza is tall, Hamza have a great reach, Hamza have an amazing jab, and I feel like he could have set up his jab to kind of like neutralize Carlos and movement and everything. But obviously I know that he now got to learn what happened when you were fighting for a world title. And honestly, I might be wrong, guys. Comment below and tell me if you feel the same. I feel like Hamza just got the opportunity and didn't really step up the game and show us that he wanted to get the world title. This is my opinion. I'm a boxing fan, but I also know who put in so much work. But hey, I'm actually gonna say this to Carlos Adames. Bro, honestly, you proved me wrong, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think you was gonna pull this up, because I know the Hamza that usually fights the people that are not on your level, and I had him winning. But every time I saw Hamza just like defending himself, I'm like, bro, you need to start unleashing those jabs and everything. But obviously that did not happen. And from everyone that watched this fight, you know that Hamza did not win that fight. I have to be honest, because what fight were you watching to give it to Hamza? But obviously, when you have referees that are good at their job, I guess they saw that it was a draw. But in my opinion, I would have given that fight to Carlos Adames because he does deserve it. But obviously, draw or not draw, he got to walk away with his belt, which is actually very, very good, and I actually like that. So on that fight, I actually didn't like the decision, but I did love Carlos's ability and his defense and just the way he outsmarted Hamza in every way possible. Now we are going to move to fight number 2, and that is Shakur Stevenson and Pardo. Let me tell you something, Shakur, right? How can you tell me you want to fight Tank when you can't really get this electrician out there? I feel like this guy gave you the hardest fight. Like, if you win in the 9th round against someone that didn't even train for you, the guy was just chilling and they call him to come and fight you, and you're telling me that is the energy that you're gonna bring to Tank? Let's be honest. Shakur is a very good defensive fight. Shakur is a very fast. He's very smart. But when it comes to ring IQ and setting up the shots, I feel like Tank would literally win in less than 7 rounds, because here's how I say it, right? So Shakur and Paddle, 9 rounds. Tank and Paddle, they are not even on the same level, which means when it comes to Tank, everything Shakur does, Tank is going to start almost like calculating the same thing that he's repeating and working out on a shot that's going to neutralize that repeated movement, if that makes sense. And now I don't even see Tank and Shakur fights being close, because that performance that I saw today from Shakur, honestly, I feel like even Tank himself say, hey, that's easy money. Anyway, Tank, I know you got this. And I can say from Shakur's performance, I don't even see him winning this. And bro, an electrician that came in last minute gave you the hardest fight. And you can agree that I'm just gonna say this, Paddle, if you ever watch this, bro, you were the real fighter, because first of all, you were very good. I know you didn't win any. I maybe gave you the first round, to be fair, but for you to just be in that ring, and this is why I actually had to now understand more about Shakur, because he just punch. He doesn't like set up the punch that would make you more weaker, and to the fact where you do not want to fight again. I know we're not talking about this fight yet, but hey Shakur, look at what Parker did. Parker got the best payday on the easiest like work. The bro just took in 2 rounds and that's it. And that's what you have to do. And then that will send a very, very good message to Tank. But I feel like now, I don't even know if I used to say you're the B side, but I'm just going to leave it there. Say you're like the C side, because Tank is going to get you out there. So now, let's talk about the fight that's really interesting. Obviously, as we know, Parker meant to fight Daniel Dubois, and then Daniel Dubois had some problem with his health, which is good, we understand that. And then Bakole came at a very short notice. And to be fair with you, I really understand Bakole, and I love the sacrifices that he's made, because he actually served this great card. And there are so many things about people curious on what he can do and how dangerous he is. But we also need to remember, this guy was not in camp. This guy was not training. This guy was on holiday in the Congo. And then he got a call, which means he said yes because he know the fighter within him believe can beat Parker. But the fighter in reality was not in good shape. And that's actually something that we need to understand. And I know you do need to have a lot of faith within your ability, a lot of belief. But I feel like sometimes you need to learn that when I'm in camp, I can talk the talk and walk the walk. Because when you're in camp, guess what? You usually bring people that are similar to your opponent, and you have to replicate what your opponent does. In this case, you can't just go from, oh, I'll knock Parker out when I've got the best camp, or I've had the best camp, to, hey, come and fight Parker now. And then you come and you think you're going to win. But here are a few things that I feel like they're going unnoticed. So you have 48 hours to get ready to fight. You have to go from the Congo to the UAE, which is like, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours flight. I might be wrong, correct me if you know. And then there's jet lag, there's tiredness, there's a different time zone, you need to sleep, you are tired, and there's so many other things that really you need to adjust to. And then now you're going to put your body in where you have to push it to the limit, which I feel like that's something that people are not seeing. One thing that I've also noticed, by the way, one of my bros in a group chat mentioned this, and I also noticed it because Bakole had the shot from his last fight when he fought Anderson. And I feel like that's just show you that there was no time to prepare at all. Obviously, he came in, amazing payday, by the way. Even me, I would do that for a couple of thousand. But then again, when you get in a ring with someone like Parker, the way Bakole was just fighting, when I saw him, I just said, nah, this man can't even pull this off, because he was just too heavy, you know, too heavy. And honestly, Parker did a phenomenal job. And I also like Parker looked sharp, slim, in good shape, fast, and I really like that. I also like that the first round, Parker didn't really do much. He wanted to see what type of Bakole is going to come in the fights. So he went back and then adjusted and listened to his coach. And that was just one shot and his equilibrium was gone. And there we go, Bakole on the floor, or Bakole on the floor. And here's the thing. So many people are saying, oh, the refs did stop the fight very early. But you forgot that Bakole's corner had to call off the fight. And I really like what they have done, because if you're too heavy and someone knock you out and you lose equilibrium, one thing that happens is that sometimes your joint, actually, you can dislocate it depending on how you fall. Imagine that big weight falling, and that's really not good. So what they're seeing a few fights that he's got potentially, and they just don't want him to damage himself that much, so he will not be able to fight. And I really like that. So Bakole, we really love your sacrifice. We really love your faith within yourself, in your ability. We love everything that you stand for and represent. And honestly, we appreciate that you made this day a day to remember. And most of us thought you was going to win. But also do not forget, the version of Bakole that people know is the version that went in camp and then finished camp to go and fight with an opponent. But hey, Bakole's stocks, is he up? Is he down? Can he get a title shot? I don't know, but I feel like he does deserve it, so give it to him. Joseph Parker, I honestly don't even know I don't have much to say about Joseph Parker, because he's done phenomenal. If that was Dubois, it would have been very hard, but now we don't know. So could Parker and Dubois still happen? Yes or no? And here's the thing that I've learned when it comes to boxing, right? I'm actually going to give you the example with football. When it comes to football, FIFA and football, they are two organizations. They are an organization that deals with football, but very separate. So FIFA and football, it is like this thing that I can't really tell you. There's no way to explain that to you. And then, but when it comes to boxing, the boxing organization, or all the PBC and Al Herman and all those people, I feel like at this point, they do not make decision about boxing. It's money that talk, which is very confusing. And that's why I actually have to mention football and FIFA. FIFA have rules and regulation that football has to follow. But now we don't have rules and regulation anymore. We are saying somebody have to make the decision, which I feel like that is wrong in my opinion. But I like that for so many reasons, and let me tell you why. Every fight that Turkish feel like he need to see, we the fan are the winners. For example, today's card, I believe, honestly, I'm telling you, every fight could have been the main event, which is very good. So are we going to see Parker versus Dubois? We don't know. Who is Dubois fighting next? Who is Parker fighting next? Comment below with your opinion and let me know. Now we are going to move on to Bivol and my man Beterbiev. Honestly, this was a better fight than the first fight. In my opinion, Beterbiev did box so well in this fight than he did in his last fight, but he did not get the decision. And most of the time, Bivol was actually boxing at or on his back foot, almost like going backward, which is very good and it takes so much skills. And honestly, this version of Beterbiev is so good. Another thing that I have to mention, there are so many biased commentators on the zone where I was watching. If you are commenting on a fight, and I really hate it when they now have a side and everyone's talking about Bivol, let's give it to Bivol, let's give it to Bivol. Even before the fight finished, even before Bivol had to prove that it can be a close fight. I'll say this was a very close fight, and I could also have given it to Bivol, but I think it should have been a draw. And here's the reason why this fight was not a draw. In the judge's mind, they know Beterbiev is 40, and they know, like, if we give this guy the decision, he might actually retire. Also, you need to understand that boxing is a business, is entertainment. So they might have thought, you know what, let's give this to Bivol and then we might push for a third fight. That is what I think. Again, that is my opinion, because how can you tell me that fight was not a draw? But also, one judge called it as a draw, which was very good again. But honestly, this was the best fight card I have experienced, and it was so good. One thing that I really love about Riyadh season is because they are basically investing their money, time and everything in to the fights that the fan wanted to see. Because I feel like back in the days, there was either no money, this fighter want to get paid this, but right now Turkish is really changing the game, and the fans are the people that are benefiting from this, which is very good. And honestly, when it comes to this card, I liked everything from the fighters. The production design was amazing. Obviously, I was watching that on TV as well as watching that on Instagram and so many other places. It was really good. So again, that is my opinion on the Riyadh season, and again, this was good. I cannot wait to watch a few cards that are coming, especially Eubank Jr. and Conor Ben. So guys, as that fight finish or on the next fight, I'll be telling you my opinion. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Listen, this is a place where I just need to talk, because actually me and my boys Ayo and my other brother Tony, we talk a lot about boxing, and I've had this idea of having this like boxing channel, podcast or whatever it is for a long time. And I thought, you know what, today's the day. I need to start. Just talk and say what you want to say, meet with other people that love boxing, see their opinion, and then basically that's what it is. You don't need to subscribe. I don't need a subscriber here, but I just want you to listen, to understand, and then you share your opinion. That's all for today. Catch you on the next one.